Hi, today we're going to talk about your horse's vital signs. Vital signs are an important thing to know as a horse owner. If you suspect something may be wrong with your horse, you give your vet a phone call. If you can assess your horse's vital signs and let your vet know what those are looking like, it may help him or her make a decision while they're on their way out to your barn. We're going to look at 3 vital signs: temperature, pulse, and respiratory rate today. So let's just start with temperature. I'm going to use a basic glass thermometer with mercury. If you prefer, you can purchase a digital thermometer. Some people feel like those are a little easier to read, but this will do just fine. I'm just going to start at my horse's shoulder, work my way back to his hip, and at his tail head, I'm just going to move his tail to the side and insert my thermometer slowly. I want to make sure that I go past the anal sphincter so that I get an accurate reading. Some people prefer to use a lubricant, and if you do so, just make sure you get something like a KY jelly and not Vaseline. Vaseline can insulate the thermometer and give you an inaccurate reading. You want to leave that thermometer in the rectum for 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure you get an accurate reading, and a horse's normal temperature should range between 99 and 101 degrees. Next, let's talk about taking your horse's pulse. The most common place to do that is at the facial artery, and that's going to be found right underneath his cheekbone here. When you're looking for this pulse, you want to remember that the first couple times it's not as easy to find as you think it might be, simply because it's so much slower than your own pulse. So you're expecting maybe to feel a more rapid beat, but a horse's normal pulse is actually 32 to 42 beats per minute. So I'm just gonna kind of roll my fingers underneath his jawbone here. Make sure you don't use your thumb, because your thumb has its own pulse and you may be picking up your pulse rather than your horse's. You can feel the tubular structure of that facial artery right behind his jawbone, and just roll your fingers around for a little while until you feel that. And once you feel it, press it up against that bone there, and that'll make it easier to feel the pulse. Finally, let's assess your horse's respiratory rate. I think this is one of the most vital signs to take a look at, because a horse's normal resting respiratory rate is only 8 to 12 breaths per minute. So it happens really slowly, which makes it kind of hard to see when you're first figuring this out. All I'm going to do is watch for the horse's side. I'm going to watch as it kind of inflates, and then it'll deflate again. And you want to make sure that when you count a breath, it's one full cycle, which is a full breath in as this side inflates, and then the exhale as it deflates. And this may be kind of hard to see on the video. It'll be easiest if you just watch your own horse and watch for a while until you see that side inflate, take a breath, and then he'll exhale. And it's hard when they move around, so you're just going to need to practice this on your own horse a little bit. Once you see his side rise and fall, you can do that over a 15-second period of time, and then go ahead and multiply that by 4 to get your full per minute count. That's the same thing you want to do on the pulse rate that we looked at earlier. The most important thing with all of these vital signs is that you practice, and that you take your horse's vital signs multiple times till you get real comfortable doing it. And the other thing is, you want to figure out exactly what your horse's normal range is. Some horses on temperature are going to be a little bit closer to the 99 range, some closer to 101. So if you know all of your horse's vital signs, you'll know exactly when he's off a little bit. The other thing that's probably a smart idea to do is to get your vet to help you assess these things the first time, and then you'll be more comfortable with doing it yourself as you go further. Thanks.